TPM Timeline, Seeing the Big Picture, Part 2. The Transportation Performance Management TPM regulations, organized under 23 CFR Part 490, provide a framework to support improved investment decision-making through a focus on performance outcomes. In Part 1 of TPM Timeline, Seeing the Big Picture, we sync the TPM timeline to TPM Elements 1, National Goals, and 2, Measures, which included data submission requirements. In this video, we'll sync the timeline to Elements 3, Targets, 4, Plans, 5, Reports, and 6, Accountability and Transparency. Let's pick up the timeline where we left off in Part 1 and jump into TPM Element 3, Target Setting. State Departments of Transportation, DOTs, and Metropolitan Planning Organizations, MPOs, are required to coordinate and set 2- and 4-year targets by prescribed dates. Other than for safety, state DOTs must establish 2- and 4-year targets during the first year of a performance period and report them by October 1st of the same year. Safety targets must be set and reported by August 31st each year. For all measures, MPOs have up to 180 days from the time the state has established or adjusted its target to either establish their own or support the state DOT targets. What about metropolitan planning organizations that cross state boundaries? They have up to 180 days from the time the last state DOT establishes or adjusts its targets. In the case of the traffic congestion measure, unified targets are required. Having unified targets means that all applicable MPOs and state DOTs must agree on and establish only one 2-year target and one 4-year target for an entire urbanized area. To find out if your state or MPO is affected by the traffic congestion and total emissions reduction measures, review the CMAQ applicability table on FHWA's website, fhwa.dot.gov/environment/air_quality/CMAQ/measures/CMAQ_applicability/index.cfm. At this point in the timeline, TPM implementation requires performance measures and targets to be incorporated either directly or by reference into future updates or amendments to performance-based planning documents. For safety, this applies to performance-based planning documents updated or amended after May 27, 2018. For the rest of the performance measures, the requirement applies to planning documents updated or amended after May 20, 2019. TPM Element 5, Reporting, is perhaps the core of the timeline. With the exception of safety, state DOTs will complete the reporting element through 3 key reports: the Baseline Performance Period Report, a Mid-Performance Period Progress Report, and a Full Performance Period Progress Report. A performance period is a 4-year period during which states and MPOs establish baseline data and track progress. States initially reported their first 2- and 4-year targets to FHWA by October 1, 2018, as part of the Baseline Performance Period Report. States then submit their initial Mid-Performance Period Progress Report by October 1, 2020, and Full Performance Period Progress Report by October 1, 2022. Then the process starts all over again, with the second performance period beginning on January 1, 2022. In the case of the on-road mobile source emissions measure, the next performance period will be October 1, 2021, aligning with the federal fiscal year. The safety performance period is on an annual calendar year cycle centered on the Highway Safety Improvement Program, or HSIP, report. The first safety targets were reported in 2017. The The last element of the TPM timeline is accountability and transparency. FHWA assesses target achievement every 2 years, at the midpoint and at the end of each performance period. Significant progress determination applies to state DOT targets only and applies only to the 4 pavement condition measures, the 2 bridge condition measures, the 2 interstate and non-interstate NHS travel time reliability measures, and the freight travel time reliability measure. For safety measures, starting in December 2019 and continuing annually, FHWA determines whether a state DOT has met or made significant progress toward meeting their HSIP targets. More information about safety measures and its timeline can be found at safety.fhwa.dot.gov/HSIP/SPM/timeline.CFM. For the non-safety performance measures, states also have the option to revise their 4-year targets 2 years later via the Mid-Performance Period Progress Report. Now, if we line up the TPM elements, we see the big picture with timeline milestones associated with each of the 6 TPM elements. The important milestones being 1. Including the national goals in the performance planning process. 2. Providing measure and metric data submissions requirements, including whether the performance measures adhere to an annual or fiscal cycle. 3. Coordinating among states and MPOs to establish or adjust targets. 4. Including performance measures and targets in updated planning documents. 5. Understanding what and when non-safety performance targets are included in biennial performance reports for each performance period. 6. And finally, assessing target achievement. The timeline then repeats. By syncing your work at the state and MPO level with the TPM elements and federal TPM timeline, project decision-making can be improved through performance-based planning and programming. And projects can be delivered that bring greater safety, health, and economic vitality to your community. Working together, we can provide strategies to improve our nation and people's lives through great transportation planning. Download the companion document with helpful timeline illustrations and other information at www.fhwa.dot.gov/TPM. The U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration.